All right, I got a great how-to video coming up here. I told you it was coming, and now it's here. So we're gonna make a mold with these 3.5-inch ripper swim baits, but it's not gonna be a plaster mold, but that's what we're gonna start with. It's gonna be what's in this bucket right here. So without further ado, let's make the most durable non-cast aluminum mold that you can make. Here we go. Oh, and one more note. I've tried every possible way of doing this without using plaster first. I've tried using plaster by itself. I've tried using the other material by itself. I got a spider coming down right there. I got that. That's great. I've tried using the casting, or the non-hardening modeling clay. This is the only process that I have found that makes this material doable for soft plastics. Again, here we go. All right, to start with, you're gonna need to have a mold framework. I use Lego pieces because that allows me to use or make it many different angles, many different, not angles, but sizes. For this particular one, I'm actually gonna make a mold of two swim baits. Usually I do a single, but we're gonna do a double this time. You're gonna need plaster of Paris. This is just the basic stuff from the 4-pound stuff from Home Depot. It's like $10, $11, whatever, I think. Gonna need a level, make sure this mold is level. Gonna need water to mix into the plaster. But, some type of bottom to this, so I just use all-weather strong duct tape at the bottom. Many are gonna say that you should pour the powder into the water. I don't. I pour water into the powder, so that way I know I get to the exact consistency or viscosity of this that I want without having to waste a lot. So yeah. All right, so now before I get started on the plaster, with all these Lego pieces, there's cracks in here everywhere. You see that? Cracks from all the different pieces connecting. I'm gonna use this Vaseline, and I'm gonna seal or put it in all these holes so that way the water doesn't leak through. So I just, again, take this and just kind of go in, scrape it along the sides. And just as a side note, you don't need to put the Vaseline on to keep the plaster from sticking to the Legos, because it won't stick. Again, it's just purely to fill in these voids so that way the water doesn't seep out after I pour the plaster in. All right, so now I'll go ahead and mix this. Mix the plaster, little bits of water at a time. That's gonna be too little, but again, I always start small amount. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up, and as soon as I'm done and I get the viscosity that I want, I'll turn the camera back on. All right, I'm gonna talk a couple things while I'm stirring this. One, once you get the water starting to mix in, it's getting ready to set. You got about 5 minutes of working time before it starts getting hard, so it's always good to make sure you have more resin, or I'm sorry, more plaster needed than too little, because once it starts going, you can't add more to have it to get more quantity in there. All right, here we go. So little bit more water. I want it to be not quite liquid, but not quite peanut butter. Got to have it flowing. All right, that looks about good. Again, I'm going to move quickly on this because I don't have a lot of time. Once it starts going, that's good enough. All right, wipe that off. It's just so hard doing fast. Blow bubbles out. Put this in. It's a warm day, so this is going to start setting fast. Okay, get all that in. That's good. Done. Okay, now I got to vibrate this a bit to get it flat. Now, set these in. You want to have an area for a pour spout in the mold. I'm not going to put the pour spout in here. I'll show you why later, but you want to have enough area in the front for the pour spout. So I'm just going to gently put the tail in first. Go about right there. Okay, slowly sink that in. Halfway, only halfway. Dang, it's already setting on me. That was fast. Okay, I might have to reset and do it over. Second one, just set it in. Okay, only halfway in. Remember that. Not the full lure, not the full swim bait. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, see how that's only halfway in there, halfway in up there. Now before anything gets screwed up, you stop and you walk away. So that's it for now. I'm gonna leave that alone. Come back and do the next part later. Let that sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so this is dry now. It's been about an hour. Now we gotta make sure that the mold itself is smooth. Make sure that the areas that we don't want to be covered are removed and not covered. So if you look behind this tail right here, let me get the small screwdriver here. Look behind the tail right here, you can see some of the plaster creeped up on that. We don't want that, so we're gonna go ahead and just kind of grind that away a little bit so it's flat up against that tail. Okay, blow that away. Same with here, that one too. Kind of smooth this out a little bit so it's flat. It's never going to be perfect. Now we got to drill our holes into the plaster so that way the piece has somewhere to lock into. All right, so you don't need a deep spot. Can't go here because that's where the pour spout is, right? So I'm gonna go, say, right in this tail, right between here. Just a small area, okay? I'll put another one right here. Again, this is just so when both sides, because this is gonna be a full body, when both sides of the material are held together, they lock in, okay? So you got that one there, right here. All done there. And if you're not quite understanding why I put the holes in yet, it's okay, you'll see later. But now we have to have a pour spout, right? We got to make something that this is going to pour into. I'm fortunate enough to have molds already. So what I do is I take my modeling clay and I put it into the half the pour spout area. So I got it in here. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna lay it right here, right up against that. Okay, that's in. I'm gonna push it down, make sure it's snug on there. And the reason, again, that I use it straight from the mold is because it fits on this injector right here, right? So if you don't have a mold, just take your modeling clay and mold it around this fitting and put it up top here. And then take a modeling clay or whatever and slide it down or build it down there so it has the pour spout to go into. But there it is so far. I'm gonna finish smashing this down and I'll get to the next step. All right, that's all done. You can see that modeling clay is pushed all the way up against that plastic, all the way up against that plastic. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the 2 layers back on here and be right back. All right, the 2 layers are back on it. One thing to note, but this is from Amazon, Plastilina non-hardening modeling clay. So I've been using this same 1 pound package for about 4 years now. All right, so now that this is all done, we're gonna do the same thing with the Vaseline. We're gonna coat all the walls of the Lego pieces, and then we're gonna put make sure you put a good coat, not thick, but just make sure a good coat of it all on the plaster. 100% on the plaster, do not miss a piece because otherwise the next material is going to stick to it. Make sure you get in the holes. You can do it on the lures if you want, the swim baits, but you don't have to. You don't have to do it on the clay, but definitely get this Vaseline, a good coat, all on the plaster here. Now a moment of truth. There it is, that's the stuff. This is cement powder. Okay, this is called LevelQuik RS, 50 pound bag, 30 bucks. Okay, so yes, I'm using cement to make my molds for this now. Okay, so question many of you may be asking is why I don't just start with the cement down here instead of starting with plaster first. If I made this liquid and poured it in there and tried to put the plastic lure on it, it will float. It sets too slowly. This cement stuff sets too slowly for this plastic to sit in there and stay like this does. If I were to put it in there, it would just go and float up every single time. So I have to use the plaster in order to hold this swim bait down, and then I can now pour this top layer into here, solidify it. Takes about 4 hours for this to dry or to cure or to be hard enough to move around. So what I do is I pour this in, and then I'm going to, after 4 hours, take it apart, flip it over, put the framework back on it, and then do the same thing with this and whatever, and pour the second layer on. So while we're here, let's just go ahead and put this first layer on. You don't need nearly the amount of water as you do with plaster, because this stuff will start going fast. So I'm going to start with this right there, and as you can see, just mixing it. When it gets to the viscosity I need, I'll be back on the video. All right, here we go. So that's about the viscosity I want. It's kind of runny. It's cement, right? I don't want it really thick because I want it to get in the voids, similar to that plaster. But the great part about this is it has a super long working time, unlike plaster. So I can mix this, I can let it sit for an hour, 30 minutes, and you'd be fine. You could work, spend time working with it. But what I like to do is let it sit for a little, or bump it, right? Bump it, get all that air, mix it around, get all the air bubbles out of there, because you can. So I'll do this, I'll bump it, whatever, for a good 5 minutes, get all the air out of there, and then I'm gonna pour it. Another great part is, because it has such a long working time, you can add, if say I pour this in here and I was short by half an inch or so, I could still mix more cement, add it in, and it'll be perfectly fine. Because again, it's a much longer working time. All right, air bubbles are out. Now I don't just pour it in. I take the spoon and I fill in the divots first, and where all the crevices are, and then I'll pour once I'm making sure that I've gotten all the areas that can hold air bubbles. Make sure that all those are filled. So fill the hole, fill the hole, fill the hole, fill that hole. Get all these crevices by the injector or the spout area. Okay, then softly get around the tail, so that way the cement doesn't pull the tail down. It's the most important part about it. Okay, a little more around the tail. Be very slow going around the tail so the cement doesn't pull it down. Oh, and again, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but I did not pull these swim baits out of the plaster. I left them in there because I want those tight. I didn't want to take a chance of loosening or not being able to get it in the right spot. All right, so now that that's all done, now I'll go ahead and pour. Okay, no need to waste, get it all out. That's pretty much a perfect amount right there. Okay, move it around a little bit. Just in case some of that cement pulled the tail down, I'm going to vibrate it a little bit just so it can make sure it stays vertical, stays in its spot. And that's it. Put the level on, make sure that's good. All right, that's pretty much level right there. Level over here. Done. All right, let that sit for 4 hours and I'll come back. Okie dokie, here we go. It's been 4 hours. Go ahead and peel the tape off. That away. Hard as a rock, or hard as cement, whatever you want to call. There we go. And now, if you did it right, this is all gonna come apart right now. Watch. Boop. Just like that. There. Alright. That came out perfectly. Okay. That's good. Now what we do is get ready to pour the second coat of the cement. Okay. So now that this mold, or this half of the mold is all done, I'm gonna show you something. So let's just pretend that when you pulled it out of the plaster, that this tail came out, right? Let's say it did that. Now, it's not gonna, just for whatever reason, sometimes it doesn't go all the way in there easily. So sometimes you can just use a little bit of Vaseline and just kind of put it in there. You're gonna need the Vaseline anyway. Okay, you do that. And then that tail will slide right back in to its cavity. All right, so now this is ready. We're not gonna take those out. We're gonna build the framework around it and pour the second batch. Okie dokie. Framework's all down. Now what you're gonna do is the same thing you did before you poured it. Put Vaseline or the jelly all around the crevices here and all on the cement here. Don't have to put it onto the you don't need to put it onto the pour spout, and you're going to put a second pour spout right on there. Okay, so that's, and we're going to make sure we push that down. Make sure it's snug up against the plastics. Okay, it's all that matters. Make sure it's snug up there against that for the pour spout where it's going to go. Make sure that these crevices right here, if you can see close in there, make sure those are pushed up against that wall. You just don't want any of the cement getting in between it. Then we're gonna again put the Vaseline all on the cement, all the crevices again, and I'll do that and be right back. Okay, here we go. Again, same thing. Spoon for all the crevices and the tail, and then pour. That's it. Let it sit for 4 hours and we'll take it apart. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Let's see how this looks. All right. Lego off. All right, and if done properly, this is gonna separate. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. Not perfect, I got a little bit of grinding a little bit to do on that. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Okay, so now, there's a few more steps. First, I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna take this this modeling clay out actually. Take this out. Because now before we let it sit, the most important thing to do is make sure, I'll take these out first. Make sure that the injector fits in here. All right, so it's a little off. the hole's a little small, so you got to grind it away and see where. So I got a little bit of lip right there, so I'm going to take my screwdriver, a larger screwdriver. You use whatever you want, but I'm taking, where did it go, which one was it, this little flat screwdriver, and I'm going to grind away a little bit just so this fits. Actually, I might as well show you. See how there's a shadow right there? It's right there, that's the issue. So I'm just going to kind of grind this away just a little bit, not a lot, just enough to get the injector to fit in. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. Alright, so now I'm going to let this dry about a day and a half or so, maybe 2 days, and then I'll show you how to finish it, and then we'll inject and make some lures. All right, we are on the home stretch for this mold. Now, the last thing you want on concrete or cement is for moisture to get in, because when moisture gets in, it gets it brittle. So what I use is this 511 impregnator sealer. Protects it in less than 2 hours. Protects it from oil, water, whatever. It is solvent based, not water based, so if you're going to use it, make sure you have mineral spirits or acetone or whatever. But I'm going to use this, and I'm going to seal the entire mold, all sides, everywhere. I'll just go ahead and dip it. I'm doing 2 thin coats. It'll absorb it, but I do 2 thin coats. Let about an hour dry between, and then once that's done, one more step before we inject. But that's it. That's all you're gonna do. Thin coat on the whole thing. Okie doke. It's all cured and ready to rock and roll. Now, you didn't have to do the sealer, but I do it again because you just don't want moisture in here. You don't have to do this, what I'm gonna do, but it makes the plastic shinier. It makes it come out of the mold better. But here's what I do. I take the Vaseline and I just put a thin coat in here. Wherever that plastic's gonna go, very thin coat. Like I said, all it's gonna do, help it come out of the mold a little better and be shiny when it comes out instead of dull. Alright, so seeing as this is a video just about these molds, I'm not gonna go through the process of melting the plastic and all that. I'm just gonna get it ready, get the color ready, show you how to inject it into the mold, and that's pretty much it. So when it's ready to inject, I'll be back. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. 3 seconds. 2, 1. Get that. Pour that in there. Okay. Put that lid on. There we go. In it goes. Okay. All right, let's see what the first batch looks like. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Silky smooth. Done. Still a little wet. Little wet still. But there they are. The first 2 out of the new mold. Cut that up. Boom. Done. But yeah, that's it. Cement mold for your soft plastics. It wouldn't be complete though if I didn't show you catching fish with it. So roll the footage. It doesn't just have to be for swim baits, right? This can be for any full body. This process can be for any full body plastic that you want to use. So whether it's swim baits or little crabs or worms, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can use that same process to make those. I just used swim baits, so that's what I made. Now, here's the footage using the green. You. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep, got it. 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 It's a small one. It's on the green double belly hook. A double hook chartreuse in the belly. 3.5 inch. Oh yeah, that's legal. Oh, loosen that drag just a little bit. Stay calm. Don't pull it. Slowly. Slowly bring it up. Don't let it get its head turned. Nope, 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 nope. Let that current pull it up. Let that current pull it all the way up. Yeah. All right, well, there it is. Let's say 25.5.
Measure out?
25.5, yeah.
Nice.
We're good.
Nice.
Look at that.
Good.
Perfect placement.
Beauty.
All right.